Good evening. On behalf of the Commissioners and staff, I would like to extend a warm welcome to you all to the July 24, 2025 City of Roseville Planning Commission meeting. Please put all electronic devices on silent at this time. Agendas are available at the end of the staff table. If you plan to speak at tonight's meeting, please complete a blue speaker card that you'll find on the podium in front and return it to a staff member. As a reminder, Planning Commission meetings are broadcast live, replayed on Comcast 14, and available on the city's YouTube channel. I will now call the meeting to order. May we have a roll call, please, Lupe?
Commissioner Brashears.
Here.
Commissioner Hagler.
Here.
Commissioner Jensen.
Here.
Commissioner Unidad.
Here.
Vice Chair Hagendros.
Here.
And Chair Pryor.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lupe, please begin staff introductions.
Good evening, Commissioners. Lupe Nelson, Recording Secretary.
Commissioners, Joe Speaker, Assistant City Attorney.
Good evening, Chair Pryor and Commissioners. Greg Bitter, Planning Manager.
Good evening, Chair Pryor and Commissioners. Derek Ogden, Senior Planner.
Good evening, Chair Pryor and Commissioners. Kenny Shalago, Associate Planner.
Thank you. The public comment period is a time for anyone who would like to address the Commission on any item not on tonight's agenda. When addressing the Commission, please state your name for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone who would like to address the Commission on any item not on tonight's agenda? Hearing none, I will close the public comment period.
Chair Pryor, if I might interrupt, I apologize, but I just wanted to, for the record, clarify what happened, why the meeting was delayed a few minutes. We just minutes before the meeting began, we discovered that former Commissioner Randolph recently moved about 2 weeks ago to an address that still is a Roseville address, but is outside of the city limits, which makes him ineligible to participate in the Planning Commission. So we'll be notifying the city clerk's office tomorrow that there will be another vacancy on the commission. And after talking with the city attorney and former Commissioner Randolph, it was the proper thing for him to not participate in the meeting tonight. So I just wanted to put that on the record, make sure everybody understands why we had the little delay that we did.
Thank you for clarifying, and I'm very sad to see Commissioner Randolph leave us, and I thank him greatly for his service over the years.
Yeah, agreed.
A huge loss for us, and
Yeah.
such is the way. Thank you. Next, we have the consent calendar, which consists of routine items that may be approved under one motion as recommended in the staff reports. However, each item may be considered separately upon a request by the audience, planning commissioners, or staff. Tonight's consent calendar consists of 2 items. Item 5.1 is the minutes from the June 26, 2025 Planning Commission meeting. And item 5.2, North Central Roseville Specific Plan Parcel 61, the Edge Performing Arts Conditional Use Permit at 945 Roseville Parkway, Suite 140. For the record, file number PL 25-0312. Is there anyone on the Commission or in the audience who would like to pull an item off the consent calendar for separate discussion? All right. Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as listed?
I'll make a motion. Go ahead.
You can second.
I'll second.
Commissioner Brashears has made the motion, and
Commissioner Jensen.
Commissioner Jensen, I'm sorry, I had a brain fart there. Commissioner Jensen has seconded the motion. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Brashears. Yes. Commissioner Hagler.
Yes.
Commissioner Unidad.
Yes.
Commissioner Jensen.
Yes.
Vice Chair Hagendros.
Yes.
And Chair Pryor.
Yes, the motion is approved. Next on the agenda, there is a 10-day appeal period for item 5.2. Next on the agenda is requests and presentations. Before we begin, I want to review the meeting procedures. First, we will hear the staff presentation. Then I will take questions from the Commission. Then I will open the public hearing. and the applicant will make a presentation. Then I will open the public comment, and the public will have an opportunity to speak. Then I will close public comment. If needed, the applicant will be given an opportunity to provide a rebuttal. Then I will close the public hearing. The Commission may then ask questions of staff, and finally, the Commission will consider this item and make a decision based on the information provided in the report from staff and the testimony presented during tonight's hearing. Item 6.1 is a request to approve a conditional use permit for 2020 Taylor Road. Kinney, may we have your presentation, please?
Yes, good evening again. I'm here to present a conditional use permit request for Elite Towing. The project site is located in the city's infill planning area at 2020 Taylor Road. The site has a zoning designation of Industrial Business Park, or MP, and a land use designation of Community Commercial. The site is developed with 2 buildings totaling 23,000 square feet, a parking lot, and landscaping. Building A was previously occupied by Flooring Liquidators, but it's currently vacant, and Building C and a portion of the parking lot is occupied by RV Travel World. Surrounding uses include auto repair to the north, office uses and auto repair to the south, and Interstate 80 to the east. The current request is to operate a tow and impound yard for Elite Towing, which requires a CUP in the MP zone. The proposed use will occupy approximately 4,000 square feet of the existing Building A, which will be used for indoor storage of towed and impounded vehicles. The remaining area of the building will be left vacant for a future tenant. No modifications to the exterior of the building are proposed. In addition, approximately 10,000 square feet of the existing outdoor area will be secured for storage of vehicles, which would not take up existing area utilized for parking. There will be 1 employee, and the hours of operation will primarily take place Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. However, vehicles can potentially be towed to the site at any time. The use requires 1 parking space based on the zoning ordinance parking requirement for impound yards, and there is sufficient parking to accommodate the use. Staff does not anticipate any significant noise impacts, and it's compatible use with the adjacent auto repair businesses. Also, staff does not anticipate any significant visual impacts from the towed vehicles, as they will either be stored inside the building or outside in a secured area located away from the street frontage. Early notification of the project was posted on the Arcona website, and notice of tonight's hearing was published in the Press Tribune, sent to a 300-foot radius, and posted on the Arcona website, and no public comments have been received. The project is exempt from CEQA per Section 15305, minor alterations to land use limitations, and pursuant to Section 305 of the City of Roseville CEQA implementing procedures. In conclusion, the project is consistent with the goals, policies, and standards of the zoning ordinance and general plan, and the required findings of fact can be made. Staff recommends the Planning Commission adopt the 3 findings of fact and approve the conditional use permit subject to 7 conditions of approval. And that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much, Kinney. Commissioners, are there any questions for staff at this time? All right, I will now open the public hearing. I would like to invite the project representative for this item to address the commission. Please state your name for the record.
Jamie Cadero.
And could you please describe the project for us? Or if there are any questions from commissioners?
I mean, she pretty much laid it out. It's a towing storage yard, fenced, not manned. We're just going to park cars there. We have contracts with the Highway Patrol. That's the main use for the building for their evidence impound. So
Okay,
they'll be the only ones really in there.
gotcha. Commissioners, are there any questions for the project representative at this time? All right, thank you very much. You may be seated. I will now open the public comment period. Is there anyone from the public who would like to come forward and address the commission on this item? All right, seeing none, I will now close the public comment period. Commissioners, are there any additional questions for the applicant? I will now close the public hearing. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I move that we adopt the 3 findings of fact and approve the conditional use permit subject to 7 conditions of approval.
I'll second.
All right, Commissioner Jensen has made the motion, and Commissioner Brashears has seconded the motion. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Jensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Brashears?
Yes.
Commissioner Unadad?
Yes.
Commissioner Hagler?
Yes.
Vice Chair Hagan-Jost?
Yes.
And Chair Pryor.
Yes. The motion is approved. There is a 10-day appeal period for this item. Next on the agenda is Commissioner Staff Report. Item 7.1 is the election of the Planning Commission Chair. I will now open the public comments. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the Commission on this item? Seeing none, I will close the public comment period. Would anyone like to make a motion as regarding?
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to nominate Commissioner Hagen-Jost as chair for the upcoming term.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Brashears has made the motion to,
Elect.
sorry?
To elect.
To elect the chair. And Commissioner Jensen has seconded the motion. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Unidad?
Yes.
Commissioner Brashears?
Yes.
Vice Chair Hagen-Jost?
Yes.
Commissioner Hagler?
Yes.
Commissioner Jensen?
Yes.
And Chair Pryor.
Yes. The motion is approved. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, we have item 7.2, which is the election of the Planning Commission Vice Chair. I will now open public comments. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the Commission on this item? Seeing none, I will close the public comment period. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'd move that we appoint Commissioner Brashears as the Vice Chair for the Planning Commission.
I'll second that.
Okay. So Commissioner Jensen has made the motion, and Commissioner Hagen, or Vice Chair, or now Chair, future Chair, Hagen-Jost has seconded the motion. May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Unidad?
Yes.
Chair Hagen-Jost?
Yes.
Commissioner Brashears?
Yes.
Commissioner Jensen? Yes. Commissioner Hagler?
Yes.
And Chair Pryor.
Yes. That motion is approved. Congratulations. Next, we have item 7.3, which is the election of the Design Committee Chair. I will now open the public comments. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the Commission on this item? Seeing none, I will close the public comment period. And would anyone like to make a motion?
I move that we appoint Commissioner Unidad as the Design Review Chair if he's open to doing that.
Would you like to know more about the role of the chair of the design committee? I'd be happy to talk about it. So the design committee is a 3-member committee. They meet on the third Thursday of each month at 4:30. We've been meeting in this room, but we normally meet in a meeting room at the Civic Center. It's more of an informal. It's not televised. It's more of an informal committee meeting. They are charged with evaluating projects that only require, at the most, a design review permit entitlement. So occasionally you'll have a design review permit that will need a small parcel map, maybe a couple lot subdivision. Sometimes a tree permit will be associated with it. Typically, I would say typically there's really no public testimony. That's not always true. We've had a few projects that have generated a little bit of controversy, but only a few over the years. I would say over the course of a typical 12-month period, I think over the last several years, the design committee typically meets somewhere in the range of 4 to 5. Yeah. Derek wants to go 3, so I'll go 3 to 5 times, 4 maybe at the most. Occasionally we'll have little spurts, like we'll have meeting, back-to-back months. But it's not often. But it's not dissimilar to what the Planning Commission reviews. And in fact, we have had projects that would normally be eligible to go to the Design Committee, but we have elevated those to the Planning Commission in certain instances where there's been a much more public controversy, something that a 7-member Planning Commission panel, it's more appropriate to have the public hear where the meeting's recorded and televised in the evening, just for more transparency than in a small meeting. Typically, the meetings last about 30 minutes. Just to give you a broad picture, just to sell it the best I can. So it's typically not that onerous. It's definitely not as We don't have, typically the projects aren't as complex as what we bring to you here.
The only issue I have is I get off work at 4:30.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. In that case,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's why I'm glad you looked at me and gave me the opportunity to describe it, because sometimes that is an impediment.
So I just want to offer, I mean, I have done this for the last 2 years. I've been the design committee chair because I'm available. I'm able to, I've got a flexible schedule. I'm willing to continue but I would rather have somebody
I
else do
nominate
it.
Commissioner Hagan-Jost as the design committee chair.
and I second. He can be both.
I mean, can I be both the chair of the
chair.
planning commission?
There's no.
Okay,
limit
then,
on
I
that.
mean, I'm happy to continue. It's actually some good service. Yeah.
Commissioner Jensen has made the motion, and Commissioner Brashears has seconded the motion. May we have a roll call, please?
Question, do we need to state that the first motion died?
Yeah, I think technically you withdrew your motion or amended your motion, so.
Okay,
I think
amended.
I would state that for the minutes. That's how I understood it to happen. Yeah.
Commissioner Jensen,
Yes.
Vice Chair Hagan-Jost,
Yes.
Commissioner Unidad,
Yes.
Commissioner Hagler.
Yes.
Commissioner Brashears.
Yes.
And Chair Pryor.
Yes. The motion is approved. Congratulations. Next, we have item 7.4, which is the election of the Design Committee alternate. I will now open the public comments. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the commission on this item? Seeing none, I will close the public comment period. Would anyone like to make a motion or nominate somebody?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Jensen as the vice chair of the design committee.
I will
Or
second-
alternate, sorry.
I will second as the alternate.
Okay.
So Commissioner Brashears has made the motion, and Chair Pryor has seconded the motion. May we have a roll call, please?
Vice Chair Hagan-Jost,
Yes.
Commissioner Jensen.
Yes.
Commissioner Hagler.
Yes.
Commissioner Unidad.
Yes.
Commissioner Brashears.
Yes.
And Chair Pryor.
Yes. The motion is approved. Congratulations. Next, we have item 7.5, which is recent legislation update.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Pryor. I just have a quick oral report on some recent legislation that affects housing policy, land use policy for the city. You may have read that when the governor signed the budget, he required a couple of trailer bills be put forward, particularly Assembly Bill 130 and Senate Bill 131. These are housing and CEQA-related bills. I think the publicity that they received, you probably saw a lot of, the biggest CEQA overhaul, CEQA reform in the history of the California Environmental Quality Act. We've changed all the laws that is going to make housing, people can just go out and start building housing tomorrow anywhere as much as they want. That was the newspaper headlines. And I know that now Chair Hagan-Jost asked if I could kind of give a summary of what all of that was. And I can tell you that Assembly Bill 130 was one of the longest pieces of legislation I've read. It hit so many different sections of the Public Resource Code and the Government Code. And so I've tried to, I had Lauren Hawker, our senior planner for long-range planning, give me a summary so I could come and save you guys from a couple hours of discussion, and hit the key provisions of these two bills. The first key provision is some of you may recall, back in 2019, Senate Bill 330, it was called the Housing Crisis Act of 2019, fairly significant legislation. It started some of the triggers with the no net loss on zoning, that if you removed units from a piece of property or allocated units, you had to find another spot in the city to relocate those units. You couldn't lose density. It was really about maintaining the amount of housing availability that a city had property zoned for. There was also some fairly significant language in that bill regarding what the findings a city would have to make in order to deny a housing project. And they were very onerous findings. In fact, looking at them, it'd be almost impossible unless you could say that there's absolutely no more, the water and sewer systems, would not provide service to that property. So for a city like Roseville, it would be next to impossible. And you've seen that language in many of your staff reports over the last 5 years, where we've had to put that in. So what this new bill did is originally SB 330 was passed in 2019. It had a 2025 sunset provision. It would all go away in 2025. Then about 3 years ago, they moved the sunset provision to 2030. And so this year, they made it easy on us. We don't have to worry about a sunset provision. They just made it permanent. So all the provisions of SB 330 are now permanent. One of the new changes clarified that when you're looking at housing, when you're looking at the findings for housing, when you look at housing developments, all the state legislation, local requirements that you would use to evaluate housing developments for land use and zoning now apply to child care centers. That's going to be something interesting for us. I don't know the practical impact of that, but I think it's probably would have more to do with communities that may not be as supportive of daycare and child care facilities as we are. Typically a daycare facility, they get a design review permit. If they're in close to an industrial zone or certain properties, they may need a conditional use permit to make sure they're compatible with the surrounding uses. But we've really never had an issue with child care centers, at least as far as whether we would support them or not. Maybe the design, making sure that they were designed appropriately to lessen any impacts, we would do that. The big CEQA, the big headline when you saw the CEQA reform, so they created a new, what they call a statutory exemption for housing projects. Statutory exemptions, there's a list, I think this is number 66 now, although there's a few of them that have faded out of the legislation. But these are specific, project-specific exemptions typically where, for a football stadium in Irwindale, they said this project is statutorily exempt from CEQA back in the 90s. And that meant that when they went forward to get entitlements for the football field, there was no EIR, no public, no lawsuits, no CEQA lawsuits. So the legislature would carve out specific projects and say, you're exempt, no CEQA for you, and it would just make that economic development project go faster. So the statutory exemption for housing projects now is there's a whole bunch of criteria. The site has to be less than 20 acres. It has to have a minimum density of 15 units per acre. It has to be consistent with the land use and zoning. There's no environmental constraints, wetlands, floodplains, et cetera. No historic structures are included. It does require tribal consultation. Typically, tribal consultation is limited to projects that have negative declarations, mitigated negative declarations, and EIRs. Exempt projects, a typical exempt project does not require tribal consultation. If you apply for the statutory exemption from AB 130, you will go through tribal consultation. Phase 1 site assessment, there's certain regulations if you're within 500 feet of a freeway. And then if it's 100%, it's kind of strange, but if it's a 100% affordable project or buildings greater than 85 feet tall, prevailing wage labor, there's certain labor requirements for prevailing wage. Doubtful we're gonna, there are some parts of the city that this will apply to, but I can tell you we've already looked at this for some of our a particular project downtown. Somebody asked if they could take advantage of this. Well, we have the downtown specific plan that has an environmental impact report and mitigation and monitoring report that goes with it. So this doesn't supersede previous environmental review. So the EIR that was done for the downtown specific plan, the EIRs that were done for our 3 corridor plans, all of the specific planning for the city, all of those EIRs for housing projects give a certain level of streamline review as far as CEQA goes. In fact, a project, it's an exemption in the government code. A housing project consistent with a specific plan is already exempt from CEQA, so it doesn't need this additional exemption. And that doesn't matter what the density is. It's just if your specific plan says this parcel gets 1 unit 100 units, 1,000 units, and you come in with a project that meets that threshold, you're exempt. So in the downtown, there are still mitigation measures that need to be complied with. So this doesn't get you out of those mitigation measures. So again, it would really apply to our infill areas that are outside of the 3 corridor plans, the Riverside Gateway Plan, and the downtown specific plan. So it's really a narrow area that it would apply to. Personally, I think it's a good first step. It's just, we're just a little bit more advanced than, a lot of the communities. I mean, a lot of this legislation is targeting communities that don't support housing development and mixed-use development to the degree we do here in Roseville. So they're trying to get to these communities that are making it harder for people to build housing and mixed-use development, whereas we have a 20-year history of creating specific plans and doing planning, especially in our urban, in our more urban areas. We have a longer history for all the specific plan areas. But we have a history of trying to, being proactive and making our planning accommodate this type of use that the state's finally, trying to crack the whip on other jurisdictions for. One of the other changes, the Senate Bill 131 adds a statutory exemption for rezone projects that implement an adopted housing element, provided that the site doesn't contain any natural or protected land. I don't know, it's possible we could use this in the future, but one project in the recent past that I would use as an example is the Shea Properties development that we worked on, although that needed a general plan, so I'm not sure I don't know. But hypothetically, if it didn't need a general plan, that was a specific rezone project where we rezoned business professional to high-density residential, and it was identified in our housing element to help us overcome our regional housing needs assessment deficit. When we adopted the housing element, we had an 1,800 unit deficit, and we had this whole 3-year plan in place to make up for the deficit. So the corridor plans took up a bunch, and that particular Shea property helped us make up 365 of the units of those deficits. So I guess that it's debatable on the general plan part, but the rezone part would be exempt from CEQA. So that's could be a significant change. The final one I'll bring up is it limits the scope of review for housing projects on CEQA. So this is an interesting, again, this is so new. This is literally 24 days old, this legislation. But if you had a project that would be eligible for a CEQA exemption, except for one specific impact area, then you could ignore that one specific impact area and you could still be exempt. So the example that, we tried to think of some examples, and one example that came to mind right off the bat was you looked at this project, you evaluated it, it has wetlands on it. That's everything else, noise, air quality, traffic, infrastructure, public safety, all the other CEQA topics, no potential impacts. Wetlands is a potential impact without mitigation. If that's the only one, you qualify for a CEQA exemption. I don't think that gets you out of getting a permit if you need to fill that wetland, but at least it takes away the CEQA requirement, and all of the CEQA reform, the thing I want to emphasize, it's all about reducing exposure to litigation. So that's really what all of this reform is for. Again, here in Roseville with our specific plans, the EIRs that we prepared over the 40 years of doing this, we've already kind of insulated ourselves a lot more than most communities. So that's kind of an overview of what they've done so far. I'll tell you that that's a very minor overview compared to what we'll probably be bringing you once the legislature's done doing what they're going to do the rest of this year. They've got a couple more months, and I think the governor has until the 1st of October to sign any legislation, and there is still dozens of housing-related bills out there. I think they consolidated a bunch of them into these two, so I'm hoping they've reduced some of our workload in reviewing everything. But you will see it, you will have another legislative update probably later in the fall. And then I guarantee you, you'll be seeing another rezone package like you saw in May coming forward with us trying to update our ordinance to keep up with the dozens and dozens of changes that they make on a yearly basis. So that's, if there's any questions on that, that's,
No, thank you.
I'll add on
That's
that.
helpful.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
yeah.
All right, are there any other reports from staff?
Just that we will have meetings on the 14th and 28th of August.
Okay.
So we do have items, I know we have 2 items on the next meeting. And then we are hoping to bring you the design guidelines for the baseline marketplace on the 28th. We've got our fingers crossed that we're going to make all our timelines on that, and I think everybody will be pretty excited about that project. That's the development on Fitiment and Baseline Road, just to the east of where Costco is currently under construction.
Sounds good. All right. Are there any questions or comments from the commission? I do have a comment. As my year as chair comes to an end, I would like to thank Lupe for her support in preparing all the scripts and keeping me on track, and Jessica also. And I would like to thank Joe for keeping me on the straight and narrow.
Easy.
And Greg and Derek for their mentorship and advice throughout the year. Really, really appreciate it. And thank you very much. It's been an honor. All right.
Well, I can't let you in there because I'll say I always appreciate, I mean, the chairing the planning commission is not necessarily the easiest thing in the world. There's extra duties. So we appreciate everything that you've done over the last year too. Just want to say that.
If I could just add, I appreciate your preparedness. It's kind of difficult to make sure you're ready for everything that's going to happen, but you are always prepared, and I really appreciate that.
All right. Thank you, everyone. All right. May we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make motion.
Second.
Commissioner Brashears has made the motion, and Commissioner Jensen has seconded the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
There, put this on.